Is your wife or girlfriend constantly nagging you? Well, if the answer is yes, then you need to do these 3 things right now. All right, welcome to my channel. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and the notification button because I drop a video every day. All right, let's get into this topic. So, if your wife or girlfriend is constantly nagging you, then you need to do these 3 things. First thing is you need to recognize and accept that you caused this. No one else. You caused this. You have enabled her behavior over time. And she has sent you little warning signs, shit tests along the way, and you have failed those shit tests. I am sorry to break it to you guys. Yes. She has tested you along the way, and now you are enabling this behavior, and she's nagging you because she feels like she can get away with it. And by the way, I'm going to quote something here because I'm big into Proverbs, any kind of ancient texts, new texts, words of wisdom, right? So there's this one line in the Bible, and I'm not religious, but I'm just going to mention this one. Genesis 3:16. And I'm going to paraphrase, where basically it says, the wife will desire the husband, but the husband will rule over her. So what that verse means is that she wants his place of power. Women want by nature to lead and to lead men, but they hate it. They don't want to. They know that. But this is what's happening. Is if she's nagging you, it's a cry for help of like, please lead, please be a man, please check my behavior because I'm just going to get worse and worse with it. And man, guys, I was married before 20 years, divorced now. I'm single, been single for 2 years, and I have learned a lot from not only being married, but also dating. And that's why I created this YouTube channel, to share with you guys my story, my tips of do this, don't do that, right? So this is one of them. So that's number 1, is you need to accept, wait a minute, that you caused this. Because I'm telling you guys, when I'm dating, a woman starts to nag, she starts to do shit tests with me, and I'll give you some examples. Ooh, I check that because I don't give a shit. If they want to walk away, bye. Because I have options, and I only want to be with a woman that is not going to keep testing me. And I'm prepared for it though, because every woman shit tests, and it comes out of the blue because they are testing to see, are you still masculine? Are you still the leader? And do you have the same options that I have, right? Especially the younger and the hotter the woman, she is going to shit test your ass. So you need to be aware of these things, and you need to check that behavior. So the number 1 thing is to recognize that you've enabled this. But I got some good news. I'm always the bringer of good news because I'm the Silver Bachelor, right? I bring good news. So the good news is I'm going to get to the next steps. So number 2, you need to sit her down and have a discussion about this. Don't be emotional at all. Be stoic, and you just sit her down and say, hey, look, I've noticed this has been going on for a while, and I don't like it. I don't like how it seems like you're nagging, you're nitpicking. Now, beware of this, guys. When you do this, most women, they will get defensive. And they will say, well, if only you didn't do this, if only you cut the grass when I said, yeah, I should cut the grass. I'm going to get to number 3, the number 3 point. She's going to come up with all these defensive things, right? So again, you be stoic, and you hear it, and you say, I understand. That was frustrating. This was frustrating. But hey, we need to respect each other, and moving forward, I will work on this, work on that. However, moving forward, you need to do this, please. And you speak to her not as a child, but as an adult, as if it's someone on your team. You're an employer, you're a manager, and you have people on your team working for you. You speak to them like that, like they report to you, okay? And you're having this discussion, basically a performance review, okay? And they're going to raise some frustrations. They'll say, well, not other people show up late for work, and yet you're on me about showing up on time. Like, you need to listen and be empathetic to what she's saying. But if you don't have that conversation, again, keep your emotions out of it. Don't get upset, because she will most likely get defensive. You have that conversation with her to find out what's going on, and then you can now move forward, right? Which leads me to number 3. Number 3, she wants you to be masculine. She wants you to lead. And like I said earlier, she actually wants you to check this behavior when she's shit testing you, when she's nagging. But this is the most important thing I'm going to say right now. You need to work on yourself, man. You need to work on yourself to be the best version of yourself. So for example, during my marriage, I was guilty of this. Well, she would ask me, hey, do you mind cutting the grass this weekend? And I hate cutting the fucking grass. And many times the weekend would come and go and I didn't cut the grass. I had all weekend to cut the grass and I decided not to. And so this is what I'm getting at. Women over time will start to get irritated by the things that you're doing or not doing. And like I said, every woman's going to shit test once in a while. But the degree of the shit tests get worse, to the point of disrespect, to the point of nagging, when you enable this behavior and you're not doing your part. Okay, so that starts, first it all starts with you. You need to do your part. If she asks you to cut the fucking grass on the weekend. If she asks you, hey, do you mind putting the dishes away? You put the dishes away, right? Now, there's obviously things where women may try to beta-tize you and asking you to do things that it's like, no, I don't want to do that. So for example, let's say you're not very much of a handy person, right? And she's like, oh, can you fix the cabinets? And you say, look, I want to make sure it's done right, so I'm going to hire this company. If she's upset about how you do it, you need to check that shit and go, wait a minute, you've just asked me to fix it. I'm going to fix it. So you should be fine with me hiring somebody to fix it instead of me fixing it. Do you see what I mean? There's a difference. So this is something too that drives me crazy about a lot of women. It's like they ask you to do something. Okay, fine, but don't tell me how I'm to do it. If you ask me to do something, I will do that thing, but I'm going to do it in the way that I know is best or feel that it's best. In my example, that I'm going to hire a handyman to fix it and do it right. So if a woman gets upset with me, so this happened near the end of my marriage, is I would check it and I would go, look, you've asked me to do it. I'm getting it done. So I really don't appreciate you trying to tell me also how to do it. This is what I mean. So in relationships, especially when you're dating, all these little things are going to come up, and I will give you a couple examples of shit tests that I have got quite a few times, and how to deal with it. So first thing is, not really a shit test, but I'll put it in the category of shit test, is you go on 1 date, 2 dates, 3 dates, and you go in for a goodnight kiss, and it's appropriate. And if she turns her cheek, every single woman that I've spoken to have said if she's into the guy, she can't wait to kiss him. And it's usually by the 2nd or 3rd date. And I'm talking with the tongue action and everything, right? So what I will do after the 2nd date is I'll say, hey, look, I went in for the kiss and you turned your cheek. I'll call them on the phone. And I'm just wondering, what, how do you feel about that? I might give them a chance and go on a 3rd date, and I will go in for that kiss for sure. And if she turns away again, I end it. Because that's the very, very beginning of where the shit tests start. And then she's doing that, and she's not wanting to kiss me. Now she knows, oh, if I can get away with this, what else can I get away with? So one last example is sex. Let's say you've been dating for a few months. It's a Friday night. Neither you or her have to wake up the next morning. And you've had a great night. You've been nice. You've been romantic. You come back to your place. You have a couple drinks. And you get into the sheets. And you start to make a move. And then she says, oh, I prefer if we don't have sex tonight. Dude, that is a shit test when there's no reason for it. And hey, I respect a woman's right to choose. Sure, fine. But there's consequences to all of our actions. And if there's absolutely no rhyme or reason for it, and let's say you haven't seen her for a week or 2 weeks, and you go in and she's just playing that shit, I say that like this because that's how I take it. So I've done this every single time this happens, and I encourage you to do the same thing. Is I would say, hey, look, is everything okay? So I first ask her if she's okay. And she'll say, yeah, I just don't feel like having sex tonight. It's a fucking shit test. So then I'll say, look, I don't know what's going on, but the vibe is off. I thought we had a really good evening, and now the vibe is very off. Do you want me to get your Uber and you go home? Yeah. And she will get mad. What do you mean? No. And every single time I've done that, not once has she actually gone home. And every time I've done that, we have sex. Why? Because I've checked that shit test, because that's exactly what it is when there's no excuse to just refuse sex when you haven't seen each other for like a week or 2 weeks. You've already had sex before. There's no reason to not, and you don't have to wake up early in the morning or whatever, right? And she decides to throw that ball over at you. And if you don't recognize, you don't say something, oh, I don't care how many women are watching this. You are going to think that guy, and this is for the women watching this, you're going to think that guy's a little bitch because you can just tell him whatever you want. Nope, no sex. And he's not going to say anything. So you guys need to speak up. Again, the context here is that it makes sense and there's no reason for her to just reject you because you first ask her, is everything okay? Because maybe she's going to say, well, I'm on my period. Okay, fine. But again, if there's no reason, then it's an excuse. It's a shit test. You need to check that and say, look, the vibe is off. Maybe I should get you an Uber and you go home. And that's what you need to do because she needs to know, wait a minute, this guy is not putting up with this shit. And again, guys, you just keep telling yourself, she's got options, you have options. And it's betatization through 1,000 concessions. And I'm going to quote Rich Cooper on this one. So Rich Cooper keeps saying this, betatization through 1,000 concessions. And that's why eventually what happens is the woman's nagging you. She's all over your ass because you've allowed this over time. And now she's like, please be masculine. Please be a man and lead. So let me know what you think in the comments. Has this happened to you and how have you dealt with it? And let me know also if there's any specific videos you'd like me to cover. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.